Hello and welcome back to my studio. Now, what do pianists do when they are practicing? Well, I don't know much about piano playing, but I've heard they practice a lot of scales. Practice is the key to learning an instrument. But what about painting? What do artists need to do to practice something equivalent to perhaps playing scales? In this lesson, I'm going to show you my favorite exercise that perhaps I could compare to practicing scales on a piano. In painting terms, this is a simplified study that you can do in any medium, and it's a way to have fun while learning at the same time. And it's actually a great way to spend an hour perhaps and really hone your skills. So let's have a look at this exercise. I'm going to be using this reference mostly because there's a lot of light and dark elements I can work with. I'm also interested in the cool shadows in the foreground. And because this is a study, I'm using some scrap paper, toning it with some warm color and then just cleaning it off with the excess spirits with a bit of tissue. Getting straight into looking at the big shapes. Now, the whole point of a study like this is to get to know your subject, not to do a resolved painting, but to test out also the idea you have for your painting. I want to bring in a building in this scene as well. It's kind of a farm scene, so I'm going to introduce a building over here, but very, very simple. There's not windows and doors, etc. It's simply in its simplest form, a rectangle and a roof. And here are these cool colors that I want to test out. So you get to test out your color mixes and experiment with that a little. A study is about studying your subject. So you'll play around with color mixes, big shapes, simplified shapes, and explore what you're going to be facing, what the subject will throw up for you, and you also get to figure out some of the challenges and problems the scene is going to offer up. That is our job as artists, to solve problems, and we have to do a bit of exploration, a little bit of reconnaissance. So if you look for shapes, then you will get to the essence of the scene a lot quicker. All I'm trying to do is spot the shapes, the lights and darks and warm and cool shapes. Yeah, just suggesting a roof with a desaturated red. And that's it. That's all I need. Now going back to the elements of the scene, a bit of light showing through between the trees, exposing some lawns in the background. What color is that going to be? A cool green? Try that out. Experiment with it. Also see where you're going to depart from what is in front of you. You can make decisions, remove things, put things in. Basically staying with the concept and what's in front of you, but making a few subtle or minor changes. Now I could actually stop right here and call the study complete, but I'm going to push on and start putting in second layer of color, pre-mixing some of the colors I think I'm going to need in this painting, a range of greens and then a range of warm colors. So like I said, this is now taking the study one step further, a little more resolved perhaps, but not in detail. I'm also playing around with brush strokes here, just trying to get some of these thicker, juicy brush strokes. Working out the shapes of the trees, trying out these impasto strokes. What's it going to look like if I emphasize thick paint over here? Now this is not a simple scene, and therefore I did want to test it. Experiment with edges. Where do you want your soft edges? Where are the hard edges going to be? So I did want to test the scene out. I'm looking at various concepts involving the scene, also the mountains behind it. And I like the look of the scene when I visited this area and took these photographs. But will that translate into a painting? Or is there just too many fussy details? Or can I get a sense of space? Are there too many elements obstructing the view here? Is it confusing? Foreground, the middle ground, then the background, and then the mountains. So these are all the little problems that you need to think of. Here I'm trying to just up the warmth and also the brightness of the valleys and the mountains to add a nice counterpoint to this cool foreground, but the foreground's still light enough to show us lots of information. So I've got to come up with something that is a shadow, but is still showing me enough information so that I can see what's going on in there. So the painting has definitely come along, somewhat more resolved, I guess. Still, though, a very much a study, very kind of abstract, no details as such. And I tried things like these orange colors or these reddish colors, what they're going to look like. Well, basically finishing off now, putting in a few fence posts. And you can ask yourself, do you want to add fence posts in your final painting? Does it look right? So the study is a great way to get to know your subject and also to practice how you interpret shapes and simplify them. Well, I hope this exercise has given you ideas that you can use to help you study your own painting. Try to incorporate this practice into your own process and you'll see a consistent increase in your skills and a consistent growth in your painting. Now, don't forget, I've got plenty more exercises like this. This is pretty much what you will learn in my course, Learn to Paint with Impact, or gouache painting for beginners, or acrylic painting for beginners. I've got all of those courses. You'll find those in my painting school online. Just follow the link up here to the free course and you can have a look at the others in your own time. Now also, don't forget, subscribe, hit notifications, and you won't miss the next lesson as well. Well, there's plenty to try out, so enjoy your painting and we'll see you soon. Cheers for now.